You know, they make a lot of noise. For a machine, they really make a lot of noise, but they also make a lot of really good stuff. Hello everybody, this is Frogman. Welcome back to Factorio Space Age and our current Folgora, well, system. So I've been here for a little while just digging through the little bitty technologies, and I've come up with a kind of an idea as to how things are working. Just to grab the map here very carefully, we started off with a small little, I think it was about 150,000 or should say scrap sitting down here that I have managed to since clean up and work on. We've laid out a kind of a grid system to try to collect some of the electricity that is being made by the lightning storms and whatnot, and I've just been kind of experimenting, so not really moved ahead as far as technology goes, but I have kind of played around with how we're supposed to be gaining resources. So this little system seems to work okay. I've done some other things. I finally had to start tapping into the next island down, so we have a bunch of miners down here. We've brought in a train, plus we're doing a couple of things. Again, we're just kind of experimenting, trying to get a few things going and just messing around with resources, and of such I have gone and, well, built a little bit of a sorting system, as well as I've started to do what I would consider as a small base of operations. So we have a little bitty mall going once again. We're producing a small amount of water, a small amount of other things, and I said, well, since we're getting certain amounts of things, I would go ahead and set up a small amount of power as well. Now, we have a grid-based system on this island as far as the power is concerned, so that we can, well, at least collect evenly all of the lightning that is managing to hit the area, and I suppose I can probably put this one in now. Yes, thank you very much. All right, that just allows me to make sure that I have all the surface area covered, and I don't have to worry about telephone poles, and we just plop these things down wherever. So as far as going on, what I have discovered, at least what I've found out, is that your early power here for Folgora is going to be based around these lightning rods and a reasonable amount of storage. The lightning rods can charge your capacitors, or whatever the heck these things are called, the accumulators, almost instantly. So that's the interesting thing about power here, is that you really don't need any extra power. We're just kind of looking at here as what production is concerned. They will almost charge it instantly as soon as you get a lightning strike. So your best option when you come here is to bring an awful lot, and I mean an awful lot, probably several hundred accumulators, or at least as soon as you get here, start crafting them out of the scraps and out of the things that show up. So right now I've got a list of a bunch of things, and again, I've been sitting here playing for just a little bit. Mainly what I've been doing is just seeing what has been going on so we can see what kind of materials we're going to get. So these here will be producing, let's see if we can get these to work up here real quick now that we have spent a little bit of time doing some things. A recycler will give us all of these particular resources in the rates that they state. Now it says 2%, 3%. It's an interesting thing because they give you a percentage on the amount of what you're going to be able to see, but the really interesting thing is they're actually giving you a crafting percentage. It's not so much, I'm guessing what they're trying to say is it's not necessarily a percent of this is what it will be. It's the fact that it's giving you X amount of percentage down here in the corner as to this is how much you're going to get per piece of stuff, or however many it is, and it's just a percentage of it. Once it hits that point, it will deliver you the thing. So it's actually a number that you can kind of use, which is fun, and that's cool. Now once you get to a point where you're overrunning various things, then certain things like blue circuits or the wires that we get, or some of these other things, can then be used in a recycler to produce excess stuff. So I've gone with a kind of a simple system. I started out with just sorters and quickly overran a belt because these things can really produce things. I should say sorters. Arms, just the inserters, trying to use them to sort things. And then I realized I needed a little bit more positive action. So what I did is I used a belt that is going through here and then is using the priority capability of sorting with the splitters. So what we're doing here is we're splitting off everything that is obviously going to happen, and then I'm dumping it into another splitter. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because of the fact that this is a hard stopping point. If this thing becomes backed up right here, so like if I were to remove, say, this inserter, or probably, I don't know how full we're getting here, I could probably do that right here. If I were to just say bank, you notice this all backs up and it stops working. Well, what this also does is it allows me to build an overflow system in that is running at the full speed of a belt. Although granted, once it hits the other belt up on top there, it goes to half speed, but still, it's allowing me to make sure that none of this stuff will ever get backed up unless it backs up the entirety of the belt. Once again, we're kind of using it as an interface or an inventory, whatever. But yes, it's a big, ugly, nasty sushi belt that you as a player are going to have to figure out how to manage. So what we do is, again, we sort off, we're allowing things to be able to run by, but we're also collecting a reasonable amount of various things. So when we get a full case right now, what I've been doing is just taking what's out of here and placing another one of these down and moving the things out of it, which is why I have a considerable amount of a lot of things. What we'll eventually do here is I'll probably expand this line out and allow myself to be able to move a few things past, or you could, you know, just take your belt and do something simple like this, you know, with extra containers and build it just slightly wider. So you could have something like that that would then clear everything off. The point that I wanted was, like, I needed something that would continue to work unless the entire system backed up. And this is backed up several times, which means we've managed to run through quite a few things. It's complex, it is kind of expensive, but what we have to understand here is that we're getting all of the parts pieces we need to be able to build something like that from the stuff we're mining, which is kind of interesting. I mean, there's literally, the only thing I was smelting at the beginning was just getting rid of some of this stone, and then I started looking at some of the recipes and realized I need to quit smelting this stone. So we're doing all right. We have a small amount of water production up here. I've gone ahead and built, just like I said, the basics of a small mall of various things that we need. We have a reasonable amount of power storage. This side does not die. And again, since we have an absolute excess, and I mean absolute excess of solid fuel, I went ahead and threw down a few of these boilers and the whatever you call it, steam engines, and I probably will build a little bit more so we can kind of continue on. I'm also using it to make the rocket fuel so that we can then, right after the end of the last episode, I got my rocket silo up, so our ticket off this planet is available. Should we need to get off of here, should we need to go back, we can now. What I'm going to need to do, however, is build the beacons and whatnot to be able to make that thing a little bit better, and then possibly build a few more of them. Everything we need to build for this thing, to build these things, is available in this line, which is quite crazy. Now, as you see right here, water was a concern for me, mainly because a lot of the things that we're going to need moving forward, especially to be able to progress in the science and get the Folgorian science going, we need water. We need a lot of water. So what I did is I took our spaceship has been kind of hanging out up here, slowly but surely, just doing whatever. Any of the excess ice that we're processing up here, instead of throwing away the oxide chunks, I believe is what those things are called. Instead of throwing these things away, what I'm doing is I'm using a little bit of logic here on this inserter that says, if we have too many oxide chunks on the belt, then I want you to process ice, make ice, and then any ice that's excess over here we're taking and dropping into the space platform hub that is then immediately being requested by the cargo landing pad, and as that stuff comes in, it comes in. There's a lot of things we can do with this. There's a lot of ways to make this work, but I wanted to make sure that when it got down to doing the time and the work and the stuff, that we had enough ice to be able to do all of the things that we need to do. Because as soon as we start cranking this up, this ice is going to go away. What's fun, once again, is for the way this is all working, we do have various ways of seeing things. So we are theoretically, over the last hour, producing about 60 ice a minute. About. Which is a number that is reasonable. So long as we keep the stuff from the space working, and so long as this is continuously processing what it can process, we're doing just fine. And this is okay. It's about 12. I think it's 12. I forget what's in here. Yeah, about 12 of these for an iron or for a red belt. It's keeping up. I think this one's more or less maybe stopping a little bit once in a while, but it's okay. The biggest problem has been that these produce the scraps so quickly. It's 1 a second. So if you have 140,000, that's only 140,000 minutes. I know it doesn't sound like it sounds like a long time, but when you have a whole bunch of them, so like this has 850 things left on it. That's it's 1 a second. If you divide 800 divided by 60, that's only going to last 13 minutes of playtime. So yeah, it goes away very quickly. We're going to probably in the very near future get to be tapping onto this one. It has 47 million in it. This one has 12 million. This one has 47 plus 47. That whole deposit has 47. This all has like that 720k. That doesn't last a long time if you think about it. I mean, several hours worth of gameplay. Sure, if it's running consistently and continuously. So I went down here and I started peeling out of this one. This one had a half a million. And 500,000 will probably go away really quickly, considering we're having fun. But at least we did get to build a little bit of a train track. It's just a double-ended train that just runs back and forth and does what it needs to do. So, onwards with today. Today we need to look at our research bucket and figure out what we need to do in order to be able to move forward. In order to move forward, what we need to do is we need to be looking at electromagnetic science packs. So these are going to be stuff that we're going to have to craft and have to craft it on this planet. Here comes the fun as far as how the rest of the science goes. The first, 4 or 5 sciences, you all craft them on novice. And then we get the 6th science, which is craft in the atmosphere around any one of the planets. Actually, you can craft it in space. You have to craft white science in space, and you can do it anywhere, pretty much, as long as you have the resources to play with. Here, in order to craft this science, we have to craft it on the planet because we have to be able to use and process holmium. Now, that's our next step, and that's why I've been kind of playing around with all of this stuff. So what we need to do now is go through this process, which the first step is going to be taking a holmium solution, injecting it into a chemical plant, and spitting out the solution. I was concerned at the beginning of this that we were going to have a problem, mainly due to the fact of how rare this stuff actually is. If I get rid of my calculator here, we can see. It's a 0.02% of every single, 2.2 seconds. In 2.2 seconds, we should get 0.02. Or, your math, you can do your math. It's rare. It's the rarest thing on that list, if you look at it. Which means we have to kind of, hopefully, possibly, be very, very frugal with this stuff, at least in the early game. What's really good about it is you get 100 holmium solution per 2 ore. So it's 50 solution per 1 holmium ore, and it takes 20 holmium solution to make that. So we're going to get 5 per 2. So it's a pretty good deal. It's not terrible. Let's get that going. Let's build some things. Let's get some stuff, and hopefully by the end of this episode, be able to actually make some science. And I do love Folgorian's soundtrack. It's great. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and start. What's the processing time on this? So 10 a second. Let's drop down. Actually, I probably want to make sure this is out of the way and be able to be delivered completely. So we'll bring it down here. We'll take 2 of these a minute. That'll be, well, let's just go whole hog. We'll do 4, just because I like silliness, and then we'll do a bunch of these. So all I got to do is bring in some water, which should be right here. Can I get over there? No. Drop one of these in. Oh, you're gonna be like this. Right. Let's do about like this, that, and then drop a few things in and go there. Can I get an inserter? Might want to move that over. I mean, and by move it over, I mean we might want to grab it from like somewhere else. I know I just wasted some water. It's fine. Water's free, just like everything else. Let's move this over just to give us some room for an inserter. There we go. And done. Okay, so we have to be able to insert. I was going to say I was going to build a bus, but I don't really need to, do I? Do something like this. There. And there was something else I needed that stuff for. Let me look at here. There was something else we needed that for moving forward. So if I click on the electromagnetic science, we also need to make electrolyte. Electrolyte is holmium solution and heavy oil. So we'll be making that once we get the electromagnetic plant going. So we want a storage of this stuff. Where's the thing? put that, I guess I'll put it right there for right now. I understand that there's going to be some things in the way, but whatever. I'm just going to do this the dumb way then. I'm just going to go ahead and do a full-on just bot-based system, even though I know that's all I got to do with something like that. We do have the ability, we have a bunch of bots. Let's just that. Yeah. Those of you that don't know, if you have a recipe that is set up in one of these things, you can right-click, you can, what is it, has a shift, right-click, shift, left click, and it will copy the recipe or the needed ingredients from the machine into the box, which is pretty cool. And I think, for that matter, that's a reasonable number. Okay, so in order to make the holmium plate, which is just made either, well, we don't have foundries yet, so then assembly machine. Oh, that's interesting. They won't let you make it in I don't think you can craft fluids in assembly machine Mark 1. But it takes 20 holmium solution to make the plates. And again, plates will be required for anything of one of these. So we're going to need to be able to make those. We're going to need to be able to make those. And yes, eventually we're going to be getting into fusion, a lot of stuff. So I say we take a couple of the, just a couple of our green assembly machines. And boy, that was a bad place to put that tank, wasn't it? Well, it doesn't matter. It works if we do this anyway. We'll just do that. And you guys are going to make those. And I suppose all I really need to do is this. I know that's a make stuff. Alright, we're going to get one of those. There we go. They're happy about that now. I'm going to grab, say, about that many. And then you guys can just put whatever you've made on the belt. Nope, wrong one. Wow. That's going to be pretty quick. Okay, electromagnetic plant has now been, well, unlocked, so we make a few of those, right? Yeah, what's it take to make one of those? Alright, so that'll give us a superconductor recipe that is made in an electromagnetic plant. This is made in an electromagnetic plant, and those are made in an electromagnetic plant. So that is going to be refined concrete. You suckers. Okay, we need to get some refined concrete going because we don't have that being built right now. Let me drop in one of those, or maybe two, I don't know, and we go from there. So what I do when this happens is I grab out my little mall blueprint, which is just stuff, and I pick a spot. So like, say right there, you need to be, this is going to be slow until we can get some stuff going. You need water. I need to get water up there. That was a bad idea. Let's not do that. Control X, and we'll put that down. I think I'll put it like right there, and then we can rotate that direction, and then this can just get to there. You go to there, you do that, and then you, boop. I don't like this one because I know that this is going to grab a whole lot of various things. So one of the other things that I don't like about doing what I just said is that it's going to probably try to grab about 1,000 concrete, but we can see what it does. Go. So 50, that's fine. Now the iron sticks are going to be a problem. We're going to have to craft those. I don't believe we're making iron sticks anywhere. And I do have a small amount of backlog on that, so once again, we'll go ahead and drop down an iron stick maker, say right there. And boop, boop. Right? Alright, and then I need to set this to maintain. There's a neat little thing that I have yet to get done on this process where, this thing now, where you can do parameterized blueprints which allow you to build things basically you can build a blueprint that when you place it down, it's going to ask you what you want the thing to do, and maybe I will get that going one of these days. Not right now. Not worried about it. All I need to do is just kind of we're just, again, tossing things down to kind of make things work, and I don't really want to spend a lot of time goofing with things, so we'll make 250 of that. But like, if I look at this blueprint here, I think I can get it to do this. There's a button right here, so it says parameterize, reconfigure this blueprint. Nothing to parameterize because I don't have anything set. But what you can do is you can tell it you want it to look at what this does, what these do, and then when you place it down, it's going to ask you how to do things. One of these days, again, I will figure out how to make it work. It's kind of neat, especially for something simple like this, because you just plop it down and then you tell it what you want it to do without having to click into the interface and tell it what you want it to do. Yeah, I guess it's the same kind of thing. Maybe one less click. I don't know. Anyhow, how are we doing? This is 10, so I might need to not do that many. We'll see how this goes. I might need to make a few more of these. How are we doing on water production? Everything is fine? You guys aren't doing anything? Okay. I'm going to drop another couple of these down just because we can. And I'm not so concerned about doing belts now because we have a reasonable, our bots are considerably fast at this point, so they're doing reasonably well. Anyhow, onwards, upwards. The next thing we need to do is build some electromagnetic plants. How do we make one of those? Assembled in a machine or an electromagnetic plant. Wow. Let me gather all those up. I want to craft one by hand because I want to see what the difference is between it crafting and our assembly machine's crafting. Has to be crafted in an assembly machine. Okay, we can do that. Make one of those. And take all of that. Alright, there is our first electromagnetic plant. Let's take this over here where we have some space to see. Yeah, I got caught in the pipes. I knew that was going to happen. Let's take this over here and see what this does. So you can craft telephone poles. You can craft more of yourself. All of the things. Circuits, parts, pieces, and that. So anything that has electricity. That's interesting. Crafting speed times 2 versus this is crafting speed 1.5. Oh, really? So that means this is... I mean, for what it can make, that's faster. I guess it is what it is. We probably should use the first one to make this, maybe? I don't know. Let's set it up here. Need to move this thing. Go over there, like there, right there. Thank you. Grab me one of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and have it... Guess we can put it right... We can't put it right there. We can turn it sideways. Alright, you make more of yourself. Alright, so it is crafting... Crafting itself. We now have a few more, so let's move on to the next step. Oh, that's cool. Man, they really did a number on some of the stuff that exists in this DLC. It is amazing the stuff that is happening here. All right, so now with that we can work on electromagnetic science. Electromagnetic science. I suppose I need to go over here. And what does it take to get that unlocked? I need to make what? A supercapacitor. Okay. I'm assuming I have to make that in this. Alright, so that's going to require us to craft all of the things prior to that. So that means I need to craft the superconductors, I need to craft the electrolyte recipe, and I need to craft... That's it. Alright, let's... I'm a little concerned here. That's a fairly slow process. I might do this again. Oh, you know what I didn't do, right? Didn't do that. That's why when you're making fluid blueprints, or if you're going to be building something that you want to copy over and over again, it's a good idea, even though you probably won't use them, is to put the undergroundies on the other side of this, so that when you do copy paste something, it drops down correctly. Okay, so now that we've got some of this going, let's start working on the next section, was going to be building superconductors and going to be building electrolyte recipes. So I need to get some heavy oil. Heavy oil, heavy oil. I don't, let me see. Can I get that coming from up here? Maybe we build that down here. Where is my, do I have any more offshore pumps? Yes, I do. I have 19. Can I get one? Okay, we can get one down here. That's fine. All right. Very good. Okay. You pump heavy oil directly from the oceans, or at least what this is. So that's not something you have to worry about processing. That's good. Let's go do those then. So the electrolyte recipe is heavy oil, holmium solution, and stone. I will place those, I think, probably... This is going to be one of those pain-in-the-butt ones where we're going to have to do the double thing, aren't we? Where is it? No, it's made in a thing. It's made in one of these. How do... Okay, well, nope. New toy. How are you going to connect? Oh... Okay, no, we're not going to put you right there. We're going to drop it down about here then, and I'm probably going to try to say, we'll just bring it down there. You do this. I'm just going to build one of them for right now. Not super excited about this. There. So that'll fill up. Then you need to get one of these, one of those. And you're going to need to buffer in stone, and sure, that's fine. You should be able to go grab that. Good deal. And then I need to bring this up. Is there a spot I can put that, like right there, perhaps? No, because that's going to be in the way. How about... Guess that's going to be the best spot. Alright, fine. Alright, heavy oil, and then that should produce... Oh good, it has productivity already built in. Wow, 5 slots, holy cow. How much stone did I tell you to bring? Bring down 100, please. We have a lot of stone. So you're going to be making how much a second? 6 a second, good deal, nice to know. Okay, well, I guess we put a tank on that and let it kind of fill it up. And we move to the next step, which is going to be making superconductors, which is light oil, which we can do. We have light oil being produced right here. Maybe I just grab... I'm just going to kind of slap a lot of this stuff down. I do kind of apologize for how this is probably going to work. Maybe we could put it like right here. Because I'm pretty certain I need superconductors for a lot of things. Light oil. Move it down about right there. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll grab a thing. Boop, boop, boop. And then we just need to feed it with those things. Alright. I can deal with those numbers. And then you will have an output, I guess, over here. That will be the superconductor. And you can go there. And you can be told maintain, at least for the moment, right now, 100 of those, I guess. I don't know. We'll just let it run and see what happens. Cool that they get productivity. That's very interesting. Huh. Okay, well, I'm excited about this. This should be fun. We'll let those run a little bit, build us a few parts. Again, all I want to try to do is just get this unlocked. So in order to do the next step, we need to be able to craft a superconductor. The superconductor is just going to be all of that combined plus some more stuff. So I guess I could just drag another one of these down here. Don't put it too close. And you need to make one of those. Okay. Boop, boop. Okay, I can deal with those numbers. That's fine. And superconductor connected to the logistics network will be... there we go. Electromagnetic science pack. Beautiful. You are superconductor, or whatever that thing is. Yeah, supercapacitor. Excuse me. This is a conductor. This is a capacitor. I know what this stuff is. Give me 50 of those for now. Just make 50. And then... yeah, I'm starting to get this out. I'm basically going to kind of throw these things around a little bit for right now so we can kind of figure out what their production is going to be like. So like that's 1.2 a second. This is going to be 0.3 a second, and this is going to be 6 a second. Some of this stuff we're going to need going forward because I believe Electromagnetic Science Pack is again made in this thing with all of that. Okay. Now I'm crafting accumulators right now because that was one of the first things that I decided to do that, you know, we needed to do. You come down here. Actually, no, I just need to make sure I can get around that, so I should be able to jump over here. Let's place it about right there. And you do this. Boy, that's really annoying. That's incredibly annoying, the position on that. Let's try that. There to there. You can come to the front here. There. Point to there. And then all this needs is, again, a inserter. One of these. One of these. And one of those. Boop, boop. I'm okay with those numbers. They've got to go a long way because the accumulators are way up there. I might tell them to make that more like 20 of them. That way they're not trying to drag them from too far. And there we go. First Electromagnetic Science Pack. Amazing. Awesome. So that opens up all of this fun stuff. Now, the thing that I want to do, and what I will probably work on in between episodes, is we're going to sit down and we're just going to go ahead and accumulate a lot of science. I'm probably going to actually go ahead and build some productivity, I'm going to have to expand this out. Essentially all I wanted to do was just get that crafted so I knew what it would take to make it work. Now these are going to be, they're going to take what? About 0.3 a second to craft these things. So in order for us to be able to even remotely get close to what we need to, this is where I have to work the math backwards. So if I want to make at a bare minimum 150 a minute, right? We have to take 150 and divide that by 60, which is going to be 2.5. 2.5 divided by 0.3, I think is what these things are going to do. 0.3 is what they said. 0.3. That means we need to have at least 8 or 9 of those producing science in their current fashion. So I'm going to work all of that math backwards in between episodes so that we can craft an unholy amount of stuff. And I'm also going to bring over some beacons. I'm going to bring over some speed modules. I'm going to bring over a bunch of stuff. But, looking forward to this, we're going to be able to start unlocking some better stuff for our character to include better power armor, or actually I should say mech armor, better bot stuff, productivity processing, which I'm going to have so much fun with that once it gets going. Module qualities Mark III, which means we're going to jump into quality, and then, yes, better stuff. This is where I was saying I was concerned about some of these things, because if you look at this number right off the bat, it's 1,500. I will guarantee the one after that is 2,000, then 3,000, then 4,000, then 5,000, then 6,000. Same thing here. It's going to start at 2,000, then it'll be 3,000, 2,500. It's just going to move up. As we wander through some of this stuff, I want to be making this stuff as quickly as we possibly can, and as things get better and as productivity increases, we're going to be making things even faster. Which means we're going to probably have to figure out how to get off of this piece of property, and I'm going to have to drastically improve the production of the parts coming from here. But at least at this point, considering the fact that this is the only way at all to get this stuff. So, and we've already managed to work through a decent amount of the holmium ore. However, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. We're making science, and maybe by the next episode we'll be able to do a bunch of research. So, see y'all later.